Welcome. This is Dr. Traci K. Thanks for coming back. Oh, I love you in this place. If you haven't already, I would love for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Dr. Traci K with an I, or like us or follow us on Facebook, or follow me on Facebook. You can follow me, either want to check out some Traci books. We also have the Working It Out series on Facebook, and I can connect you to a lot of my programs that are going on. And also, if you're interested in more of the beauty and fashion, you can check out Traci K Beauty and Fashion. Instagrams. But let's get started on what I want to talk about today. I'm going to give you, we're going to talk about the secret of attraction, romantically, financially, and spiritually. Whether sex is a failure. Now, there's so much out there when it comes to the law of attraction, and we also have a group on that, so I will share this in that group. But there's so many things out there when it comes to the law of attraction. It's so confusing because the law of attraction, like, what is it? One of my quotes that I've got trademarked is, you've got state law, federal law, and you've got universal law. And when it comes to the difference, so many different things, and the universal laws reflect around some areas, a lot of areas, but in regards to the secret of attraction, because everybody's heard about things like The Secret. That was a big deal, but we found that a lot of people are having trouble manifesting, or it's just so confusing. So we're going to kind of dive deep a little bit about understanding the secret of attraction, so to speak, and what some things maybe you have tried, I have tried, we've all tried, or what's not working. So in this area, so whether you want to improve a relationship, bring in a relationship, or develop your intuitive abilities, or some people call it a psychic ability, or create more wealth in your life or success, there's one critical step you must take every day, and finding out what the real secret is to attraction. And people think that the basic is going to help everyone, but believe it or not, I'm going to explain to you that each one of us are unique in the way we are energetically vibrating. And if you don't understand how our body works, it's simply put that we have energetic system. We have our physical foundation, which is the shell of our body, but then we have a subtle energy. Subtle energies are actually what animate that physical body. And then we have these other energies that are around, that we expand out of the physical body, that we animate with our subtle energies. The subtle energy is what's really hard for us, because we're stuck mostly in a physical foundation, when we have to understand that the subtle energy, which is some of us call is many terms. There's a prana, there's a chi, there's the Holy Spirit, there's the soul. I mean, it just depends on what you call it, and whatever your belief systems are, that animate that physical body and foundation. And then we have our spine, which is the electromagnetic cord, or the vibrating, just like our planet has a pole that it tilts on. Okay, it's the same thing with our body and our foundation. And then we have these energetic systems. Basically, in our physical one, we have the 7, which is called chakras. And they go from the root all the way to the crown. But then there are other ones that are expanded out into our areas that are a little bit more when it comes to that, which is basically, there's tons of stuff. There's the etheric energies, there's the aura, there's so much more. There's actually expanded up to like 22 if you go that high. And there's actually names for that. But let's get going on to the step. Now, when it comes to the way you attract things, you have that spine, which, when we come into this lifetime, we have a DNA code. And DNA comes from things that we've actually experienced from our other planes of energies, lifetimes that we've had before. And there's a way you can find out how many lifetimes your subtle energy or your soul is. There's a simple formula to use numerology. And you could have had these past traumas, lives, or whatever that you don't know about. Because, like, for example, some people that are born, that come into play, they find out they have these birthmarks, or they have these center scars, and they don't realize this, but it's actually part of a DNA code that's been transferred when you come into this creation, when the cells have united and divided and created into you. And that could have been anything from, like, if you were stabbed in a past life, or burnt, or or if you have problems with your hearing, or if you have problems with your trachea. It just, it can transfer into a DNA code. And so when it comes to the secret of attraction, it can also be the way the energy environment is around when you're in the womb. Was there a lot of yelling and screaming or trauma that was put on you while you were in the womb? And that could also affect the way you're being born with some of your healing process, because, like I said, I'm a metaphysician with energy medicine, so I have that medical intuitive. You can, if you want to find out, because a lot of people are not in tune with that subtle energy, and you can go to somebody like me, like a metaphysician, that can actually find out what areas that you're dealing with if you on an issue that you're asking about. So when it comes to things that we want to attract, with the secret of attraction, there's a step that is often overlooked by most people, regardless of how much personal growth or spiritual training has been acquired. Regardless of how much you visualize, repeat affirmations, write down your goals, etc., etc. And if you don't take this step, you are cutting yourself short, because the whole key is to finding more about yourself and finding out who you are in your subtle energy, understanding your subtle energy, feeling. Because if you have these so-called it's called the inner screen. So I like to call it the your inner vision screen. So it's about a lot of people. If you understand the practice of mind's eye, you need. Sometimes we're not clear on what we're trying to bring in when it comes to seek attraction, or attracting what we want and desire into a physical realm of possession to hold in our and to have into our energy field. That way, that's part of the whole deal. So all these affirmations and writing down and goals or listening to YouTube, it's, those are good educational tools, but you need to find more about yourself. And the only way you can find out about yourself is going to an expert and having them actually do test and analysis and finding out more about yourself. Just like anything when it comes to your health and well-being. If you're having trouble understanding why you have this pain in your knee and you can't figure out, you go and get an x-ray, right? Well, it's the same thing with understanding where that's coming from and how to figure out what to heal. Now, on a physical realm, in a conscious level, we take and look on the outside. So we do a chemical processes like we do prescriptions, and or exercising or rehabilitation. But what everybody understands when it comes to energy medicine, the healing is actually the finding out more of the healing after you've gotten your basic found physical information. Now you need to find out, because with that other stuff that comes with those prescription pills, those prescription pills, it's, can you imagine all the energies, the things that it goes through to get to that bottle? There's so many people touching it, and it's going through these different things, and you're dealing with that extra. That's why there's always these commercials like, you've got anxiety, depression, take this pill. But the side effects are that you might be nauseated, sick, lash out, rage, ulcers, headaches, whatever. I mean, growing up, what I'm talking about, those commercials, right? So do you understand my point there, the side effects to it? So the best thing to find out is finding out within. That's your key. Finding out what's going on and where it's coming from, and how to shift that energy out of your blocked energy, or your system, or your disease, or your process that you're going through, where you're trying to. And same way with anything when it comes to relationships. If we're not purposely, we might block that because we're not really ready. Maybe we like being single. Maybe we don't want to have the time, even though we desire. Maybe we're always thinking about, I know exactly and who I want. But every sign comes in that's there, and even then they bypass, but they never actually come into your energy system to connect on that spiritual soul level, even though you're meant to connect, and it's right, but you never seem to connect with them. It's because really there's other things that are going on in your system that is not allowing you, because it's just not time, it's not ready. So the whole point of the strategy is to finding out, is the best way to find out is for me to explain the secret method to you, right? That's the whole point, is to give you like an example. So hypothetically, let's just say you're interested in creating a new romantic relationship. Following the advice of a personal growth guru, or a gem goddess, or a mystic, or a psych, or anything that is life coach or whatever, you make the detailed list of the person, like The Secret. You make a detailed person of the person you want to attract into your life, the kind of characteristics. I think one of the ones is like, put a circle, put all the things inside that you like, but on the outside you don't want, right? Okay, have you heard of that one? It's just, or say you come up with these positive affirmations. You're going to the YouTube channels, you listen to these subliminals, and or hypnosis, or you're just whatever you're trying to do, or saying these affirmations. You repeat to yourself throughout the day. Maybe you start frequent the types of places maybe that this ideal person would be. Hoping maybe in a couple weeks past you might run into each other, maybe several months, but there's no measurable results. So gosh, right? Bummer. And if you're like most people, you're attracting the wrong types of things, not that, or you can't get those out of your life. It's just not what exactly you're looking for, but what that type of person. But there's so many things, and once you get in this situation, this is where the real problem starts. Every time you try to visualize, positively affirm, or visit the places where that type of person you are looking for would be, every time you take the steps, this deep feeling starts to build up inside, right? Maybe the feeling is doubt, frustration, anger, loneliness. What if they actually you see them hook up with others, even though they're so close you can see the messages, it's clearly you're supposed to be with them. Or maybe they even have something that furthers down, but it's just like, I don't understand this. Why is it we know I'm supposed to be meant to be, but why isn't it happy? Maybe the expectation that nothing will really ever change. And you're just thinking, well, this is just not right, because you know that that you're meant to be with that person. Ironically, so just reach a point here where the personal growth methods become what I call, it's self-destructive. When you get to this place, when you start to feel this way inside, visualizing positive affirmations are going out to the right places, all become actually more damaging than helpful. And you're like, well, how can that be? Each time you take a step, that feeling deep inside builds even more. And it's frustrating because it's gone years now, and you're still thinking, well, when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? And it's not like you're not taking action, because you got to take some kind of action. But, maybe there's things that blocking. Well, I think, in the right realm, they should be drawing and coming to me, because that person has the right means to. That the universe should be providing that. The universe gave me this message that that's the person I'm meant to be with. And so, hello, let's get it going here, right, universe, right? Well, otherwise, when you reach that point, it's actually, you're feeling this deep, even more. You're just actually, it's healthier to stop using, in a way, these self-help guru techniques. Just take a break from it. It's not like it's not helpful. It makes you grow. It's a self-growth process, just like things I teach. But otherwise, you're digging yourself deeper and deeper into whole, because maybe you just are not taking in and understanding. Because the whole key is finding out more about you. It's about you. What's going on inside you, right? So otherwise, what happens is, and I know you guys feel it, I feel it, I go through it. But then again, I understand why, because I understand, that's my thing, because I know. But most people encounter this frustration block, wall. That's what I want to say. You know what I'm talking about? That's a perfect word to use it. Block, wall. And you feel that block. You feel them block when trying to make a significant positive change in your life. How ironic, huh? Am I feeling this so good? Everybody say so good. How discouraging. Yes, it's so discouraging. I myself go through it. And that's why, we're sharing this practice together so we can better understand. The whole key, it's not about what every self-guru says. Those are great educational tools. It's not like I'm saying you shouldn't do it. I myself am constantly going to those people and learning myself and growing and doing my own research and saying, but the whole key is to be understanding who you are, deciding decisions, because you have free will. You know what these can be offered to you. So it's your choice. Okay, I have free will, my destiny. It's nothing set in stone, so to speak. Yes, I see it. I feel it. It's frustrating, those blocks. And it's just to the point where it makes you feel like you should go back to what you were doing before and forget all this self-help garbage, right? And stop getting your hopes up. It's just simply not working, right? So good. But wait. Come on back before you go back to your old ways. Stay in that conscious. Don't think about growing, dropping back into that low vibration. Here's why I want to explain to you that it's not working. This is why it's not working. And we're not perfect out here. We try to be as much as we can in our best known ways of how we're raised in our environment, or what we've been given. Yes? So good. So here's what most self-help resources fail to include in their methods of instructions. It all boils down to one main issue: your lack of emotional state control. See, when you look at in my field, when it comes to energy medicine, like I discussed, we have that foundation. But our subtle energy is what animates that foundation, which is our physical body. But what's around us, there's so many rings around us that expand, that are added to our, and one of those rings that are around us, like I said, there's an esoteric ring around us of energy, there's our aura, there's so much going on here. But there's an actual ring around us, which is a little bit further out from our physical body. and it's called the emotional ring around us. And understanding the secret of emotional state control. Because if you're serious about achieving anything new in your life, getting control over your emotional states is the secret ingredient to getting the results you want. And that's hard today. We are all going through the biggest problem we have out today is our mental health diseases, which is anxiety, PTSD, mental health issues, right? Emotional, and it all keys to the emotional states. Emotional anxiety, crippling anxiety, chronic diseases, everything that's involved. And getting control of your emotional states, especially if you have injuries, like, or disabilities even. Maybe you had this clear vision in your past and it was so well flowing, but then all of a sudden you had these injuries or these car accidents, or maybe you experienced trauma in your life and that crippled you in some way, knocking a little bit of a crack in those circles that are around your physical foundation to curing where it's pierced into your physical foundation. And so it's, caused some changes, so to speak. And that emotional state is the secret ingredient to getting the results you want. And that's so hard because maybe it depends on how, how do I control over emotional states, Dr. Traci K? Well, let me tell you something. I was brought into personal growth basically when I dealt with, when I started going to college and school and dealing with the U.S. Army experience, because I never really thought too much of personal growth. I was more, basically keen on just the basics of whatever a college kid, having fun, doing whatever, just a daily conscious type stuff, right? But I knew I had this gift because I remember it when I was a kid. But it was so overwhelming on my emotional. I wasn't ready emotionally, and it just took over so much that it could have drove me to insane, basically. And I had a good parent raised up that was strict and disciplined, and that helped protect my energy field, because when it just drains you, and I was getting sick all the time. And I couldn't understand why. But the point is, when you have that special connection of sensitivity, and because we all have it, it's just that we just don't know how to control it. And so we build these so-called blocks of energy or creations of energy systems that, if you are like me and learn how to, from whether it's near, and if you're really good like me, when you deal with things like Reiki or something, the distance you can pinpoint, or there's just some of us are kind of born into that. But if you tap in and you get back into your spiritual fitness, which is what I teach and what I educate on, the spiritual fitness part is, it's like working out your spirit. So working it out, that's why we call it that. But I kind of just fell upon those guru type cell things, the trainings and approaches. I got all my certifications in it. I got my diplomas in it, from the traditional to the holistic to the spiritual even. I got it all. So several, we're talking 30 years here, so 20, 30 years. So dozens of other approaches in several areas approaches. So, from one method to the other of controlling others or blocking, it just seems, it does work in ways, and it's useful and it's helpful. But the method for controlling emotional states that seems to work for just about anyone. It's a technique that I've learned when I was going through to get my over top of my PhD to go into the metaphysics part. And that is where you learn. Because when you're dealing with the cosmetic area of the outside, our planet, where we come from, how we're structured, learning more about myself, who I am, my life path, my karmic life path, and finding out exactly more. And I'm still in you, and that's the process. It's about why the higher power, God, whatever you call it, why did we come into creation? Because we're very blessed to be a human compared to other things. It's because I wanted to get to know himself better. I wanted to know ourselves better. And it's constantly changing, and there's other things coming in that are colliding with us in our solar system that's changing us, and we're dealing with it, including the dark energy that we deal with. So basically, when it comes to emotional state, you got to try to work. It's a practice, a mastering that area of your life. So, for example, do yourself a favor right now. Take your time right now and find a quiet space. Right now, if you're in that listening, you should be, that has little distractions. Pick the emotional state that you want to work on and master. Whether it be success, satisfaction, romantic fulfillment, confidence. Better yet, say that word and then write it down. What does it feel? What does success mean to you? When you say success, write success down, and then if you want to, draw pictures. Whatever feels right to you. Don't be judgmental. It's non-judgmental here. Whatever comes to your mind when you say, okay, I want to master success. Put down success. Draw a line underneath it. Give it a place on your paper or your notebook or your journal. And write down everything that comes to your mind. Make sure you take and do a deep breath. Clear your mind. Now, a lot of us, believe it or not, remember if you go back and you listen to what I talk about the inner vision screen, like your own mind's eye television, like when you watch television on your couch. It's the same thing with your mind's eye. The inner vision screen. What does it look like? What does your inner vision screen look like? What's your mind's eye screen look like? Is it a 52-inch screen? Is it wide? Is it panoramic? Is it or what's that? Like, is it curve all the way around your body? Like those screens of panoramic type stuff? Is it a panoramic, where you can just, the whole screen's around your whole body? Or is it just halfway curved? Or is it flat and straight, or is it really tall? Or is it down low? Are you not able to see the whole screen? Are you just seeing the edge of it? Maybe you got to steep down and look at it. Right? Well, so you got to figure out how you're seeing things. Is it dusty? Are you seeing too much black edges around the screen and not enough of the screen? You want to clear that. You want that screen to be fully screened, right, on your inner vision for your mind's eye. So we got to clear that out. And there's techniques that you can do for that, to clear out that screen. That's the most important thing first, because when you've got dust, when you've got lower vibration, or it's blocked, or it's on the side, it's not fully in front, like, is it too close? Like, think about it. Is it too close? Can you not see the full screen? So when you think about that, before you start doing your mastering, your practicing on what you want to attract, you got to find out what you see first, how you're feeling, what is coming up, non-judgmental wise. Nobody's judging here. It's you. Learn more about yourself. And then you're going to take, and I love this, I learned this from one of my experts when I actually got my diploma, and I became board certified, and she's a master, of course, like I've learned from other masters, and I forgot about it, and I was like, go back to my old books I used to study from, and it just a refresher, and for my own self, because I forgot, and I was like, why can't I see clear? It's not opening up here, and because of my disabilities, things I've had injured, I'm trying to again get back into my spiritual fitness, physically and mentally, of course, and spiritually. So I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot about that exercise. Just like when you learn to Pilates and you forgot, or Tai Chi, it's the same thing. Just anything in your life, you got to get back on the bike, and just it's like ride a bike in. Do those exercises, and wow, when I did this exercise, it was amazing. I was like, wow, okay, I see what, and it was just practicing that, learning that, because that's where you can become more in control, to the point where you would be surprised the stuff you can do. I mean, I even, something that was not even there, I actually created it in my hands and saw it. Now, it wasn't maybe in full color, or actually became a material like a lamp, on my desk here. But it was pretty close, but it was in that plane, and I felt it. And that was a great tool to use, and it worked. So when you think about that, close your eyes. Whatever you're wanting to master or work on your emotional state of, close your eyes and go back to a time in your life and see if you can find when you felt that emotion. It's pretty hard. It's not easy. Let me just give you a little moment to do that right now, okay? Pick an emotional state that you want to work on mastering. Success, satisfaction, peace, health-wise, good energy, joy, confidence, or romance, or passion, love. Pick an emotion you want to work on, that you want to master, okay? Now, you might be cloudy right now, your screen. Just think about what I talked about, your inner vision screen. And there's an exercise I'll talk about how to do that in another episode. I'll show you the inner vision screen exercise, so you can become more intuitive and clear on your visions and what you want to do to help you with attracting. So let's just take this time right now, just as you are in your state right now. Close your eyes. You picked your emotion. Yes, everybody? Okay, so good. Take a deep breath in. Ah, blow it out. Use that that vibration of use a sound. Let it go. Closing your eyes. See that actual emotional state. Put it in a word. See it in your mind's eye. Now I want you to try to go back to a time in your life when you felt that emotion. Put yourself back at that moment as if it's happening right now. Try to remember. I know it can be hard, but you can do it. Focus. I'm here with you guys. I'm right here. Try to focus when you find that time that you felt that emotion. You got it, everybody? You got it? Hold on to it. Don't let it go. Try to remember now the details. As many details as you can. If you need to, if it comes up, write it down under that word or that emotion you picked with that underlining. You have to go back to closing your eyes. See if you can find out some more details. What about the location? Where were you at? Where were you at when you felt this location? Or this, what location were you when you felt this emotion? You remember? What about the colors? Are there any colors? Right. Open your eyes. Write it down quick. Close your eyes again. Go back to it. What about Do you feel anything? Like, do you feel any temperatures? Is it hot or is it cold? Was it just right? Was it breezy? Or was it stale? Was it warm, cozy like a fire? Or was it breezy and airy like walking on the beach? Or was it suffocating? What about the textures? Did you feel anything on texture-wise? Was it wispy? Was it soft like satin? Or velvet or velour? Or was it prickly? Or was it rough? Like Berber carpet was? How did it make you feel? What was the textures? What about, is there anybody else there? Was there somebody else there when you felt this emotion? More than one person? Anybody? Right? When you get a chance, write it down. Come back. The sounds. What about the sounds? What about, was there any objects? Were there in relation to where you were in this emotion? Okay? And as you focus on these details, everyone, it helps you to trigger that emotional state. Okay? And go back and do this again. And pick another emotion that you want to master on. And do this again. And as you're focusing, get good at turning on this emotional state and soak it in like a sponge. Bring it into that energetic system where you're at on your emotional ring, which is right outside your aura, where your energy systems, is it too close to your body, or are you expanding out and allowing? Because maybe that's why it's taken so long, because everything is pulled in. Maybe you're not open. You're not an open flower to receiving and allowing it to come through into your energetic system to manifest and create, to attract. Because there's a wall there, or you're blocking something. And maybe, Traci, Dr. Traci, I don't want to open myself, because then what's going to happen? I'm going to be vulnerable to any dark energies or anything that could come in. And I got to watch myself. It's about that time right now. I'm like, yes, that's true. And that's the point of, this is what this practice exercise is. It's an emotional state. So that way, you're using that emotional ring in your energetic system. So your systems are okay. You're protected while you've got that. And again, there's a lot of exercises we can go through, and there's other videos or other episodes I can talk about that. So pay attention to where you feel it in your body also. Like, I'll give you an example. I'm a big Philadelphia Eagles fan, okay? Talking football here. If you guys are listening, I figure I'd use some sports. I'm a I'm a fanatic, okay? Even though I'm from Ohio, I love my Ohio State. I'm a big fan of them. I do like my Bengals, but I'm a big fan of the Eagles. And it comes from a time when I was in my childhood. My school was the Eagles. And I was a leader in what I did, everything. I was a leader in everything I did. I would just love school. But when we were the Eagles, and we were just things, and I don't know why, but I just started getting into, because since we were always at the football games, what we did to perform, I was always connecting that with on a national level. So automatically, what's so great about that is good processes when you're younger. And if any teenagers out here or anything like that, younger millennials, that's the first thing you want to do. Think bigger. Like if you're into football, start focusing on your nationals. Because that you're putting yourself in the future. So that's like when I was thinking of football, I was thinking more lines of like opportunities of sports, because I was a tomboy. I was always doing some kind of sports activity, and I remember we had powder puff football. I'll never forget powder puff football. And we had all of our, and the boys were the cheerleaders. It was so funny. And that was really cool. And it kind of got me to where I just, I was started watching football, but then I started watching the pros, of course. And I connected the Eagles with the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know why, but I always had the sense of the Eagle. I love the Eagle. I talk about that in another episode about the eagle, how it is, because that's one of my spirit animals, the bird eagle. I have another one too, but and so that just took it in, and I noticed I connected with the Eagles because they were always had this awesome defense, right? Had this awesome defense. They were just so powerful in their defense, but they had this small offense where they just kept hitting walls and blocks and stuff when it came to getting to the Super Bowl. And then it took them years. Now, I kind of related to that because I understood about the hitting the walls. I'm like, I would be this, like, I would win these awards and I win these things, but I wouldn't get, like, the top, whatever. But eventually I did, of course. But that's what happened with the Eagles. The Eagles eventually, they did. And they became champions, Super Bowl champions, and they still show to this day, and they changed and they grew and they're just better and better and better. And that's how I feel when it comes to the emotional state. Now, I was always like, my whole thing, if you're a fanatic fan of any sports, you think about, okay, well, are they going to go to the Super Bowl? And you think, oh, there's that block of frustration. You're like, nah. Because they're always teasing you. Oh, they'll go most of the shit. Nah, it happens. You're right there to get But then what happened that one time, not too long ago, they ended up getting into the Super Bowl. And I was like, woo, I got this emotion, right? And I never felt before. But then I'm like, okay, there's a block here. Because, yeah, right, okay, we're there. We made it. Oh, my gosh. But, we're not going to win. Whatever, we're not going to win, right? Keep doing that to me. And then what happens is I decided to change my emotional state. And I started doing things like bringing my spirit by vibration. And I'll never forget that time when they won the Super Bowl. And this emotion came over me, and I actually documented it and put it on I think, in fact, it got into articles even with other types of celebrity stuff that are even higher. I mean, I'm not an A-list or anything. I'm just I'm just a regular whatever. But it's like I had never felt that emotion before, and it was so overwhelming. I didn't know how to handle it, and I thought I was going to have a heart attack. It was just I never felt that kind of happiness or joy ever in my life. Didn't know what it was, and I thought I was dying. I don't know what happened, but I was like, oh, this is what overwhelming joy feels. This is wow. And I wasn't ready for it, but I was like, whoa. So that's what I'm talking about. That champion feeling, because try to remember that emotional state. That's one example I'm trying to explain. So when there's something that happens in your life, a success of that type of, you're going to stem from that. You're going to stem from that, pay attention to that, and remember it. Document it like I did. Go if you need to. If you have trouble emotional state going back to it, go back and look at it. People like weddings, like you have all these marriage problems, right? And they never think, because they don't remember how they fell in love. And how in the world did I ever love this person? Get your wedding video out. Learn from that. Start trying to find that emotional state. Yes? So good. Pay attention. It seems hard to do. I know it does. It seems like it's hard to do. But you'll realize that these sensations will come back, and you'll relive it, and you'll start getting it, you'll start learning it, and that right there is how to apply the secret ingredient of an emotional state control. And what this type of method does is it's related to your personal growth, and it's strong. It's strong in your spiritual, psychic, intuitive factor of your system of. And that's where, more than anything else, your emotions tell the universe what you really want to spiritually manifest in your life. that you expect it. When you combine, and it's, or what I say, when you claim it. That's when you get to that. When you get to that point, you're claiming it. Okay, and that right, and to hold that, right emotional state with visualization, goal setting, and affirmations, the universe will acknowledge your request and start organizing the resources to bring your desires into fruition. Other people and even physical objects will respond to your emotional state. But you know what? When you look at that wall across the room, according to quantum physics, look at that. We're always surrounded by walls, right? According to quantum physics, just by looking at the wall, you are influencing the atom structure of the atoms in that wall without even physically touching it. Whether you believe it or not, it has been scientifically proven. Whether you admit it or not, there is a connection between you and that wall. This is science, guys. Science, metaphysics, science, whatever you call it. It's some matter, but you are connected with other people and situations, believe it or not. I know it's, and you guessed it right. You guessed it right. I know you're thinking this right now. Your emotional states are one of the most important factors in what you communicate to other people and situations, regardless of what you say or do. That's why there's forgiveness. That's why they repent. That's why we have what we did to forgive us our sin, and other those who have sacrificed, like Jesus or whatever you call it. Anything that your belief systems is, the gratefulness we have, don't take it for advantage, because taking it for granted is it's an advantage. It really is. It's pay attention to what you are emotionally communicating. And the universe, through your emotional states, if it's not productive, fix it. Fix it. Emotional states are also a key force behind spiritual healing, well-being inside, and your intuition. Learning how, and then taking these tools that our Mother Earth gives us, so that we can be more advanced and understanding which, I'll be covering from time to time in my episodes, whatever, but how they can be applied to achieve. So good luck. And if you need some help on understanding a little bit more about yourself, I do provide services that are excellent in regards to that, learning your life path, your karmic path. Maybe you have something that's going on with your beauty or skin. Maybe some people think, well, I feel like I've aged so fast in the last 2 years, Dr. Traci K. What do I do? Do you have anything in Traci K View? Yes, of course. Those things help you. But it's using, what those ingredients to match to you. Let's find out what's going on inside. And to do that, having someone look at you, maybe you know it, but you can get it confirmed. Make it so talking to somebody like me who has the tools as a metaphysician can find out for you. And then if you want a detailed report, full report on that, you'll know and have it for yourself always, and understanding what it's coming from, where it's coming from, who you are, what you do, everything about that. If there's a karmic thing that you need to, maybe there's a DNA code that you need to, that's really messing you up, that's been passed down. It could be something in the blood that's been transferred through the mother's womb. Maybe it was I'll give you an example. Somebody had an issue with the blood concern. She had a blood disease. Find out she didn't even realize it when she did her life path thing. She found out there was a twin accidentally that was separated, but then dissolved. The cell dissolved into her embryo system when she was created in the womb, and that's what caused it. I mean, there's crazy, but that can be happening. So many different things. You know it. Why do you think they ask about your medical family history when you go to these doctors type thing appointments? Well, till then, I'm going to let you guys go. This is Dr. Traci K. I hope this helped you, and if you guys have any questions, please do so. Contact me through my chat on my website. Set up an appointment if you'd like to, or email me, or you could just leave a comment down below if you're on YouTube, or if you're on Facebook. Or message me through there. Have a wonderful day. Please come to your heart center now with me. Take us in and breathe it deep. Remember, we're going to practice on our learning about our emotional state that we want to master today. Oh, lift your hands up to your mind's eye, your forehead. Shine your light and love out to others. And now you will take, and I will do this. I will practice this and learn this more about, love learning more about myself, and I will shine my light out And I vow to now go claim it. Thank you. Have a wonderful day, you guys. Talk to you later.